Well, hey there. This is Linda Baumgarten from the Connecticut Real Estate Investors Association, and I'm still flying high off of our 14th anniversary party on Monday night. We had 200 investors from that have lots of experience to brand new. And besides getting a T-shirt and a slice of cake, they were also treated to 90 minutes of training from Robyn Thompson, who's one of my longest and oldest friends in the real estate investing world. And she's coming back for the very first time to do this event. It's a 2-day event that she's going to describe on this call. And I really want, if you weren't at the meeting and you've never met Robyn, I wanted to introduce you to her because she is the real deal. She doesn't have a lot of fluff. She teaches you what you need to know so that you can implement and make money as soon as possible. So, Robyn, thanks for coming out of the racing your horses to do this phone call with me.
Well, it's my pleasure, Linda. You know, I'm an old school Connecticut girl, as you know. I made a lot of money up there. I think almost 300 houses is what I did before I moved down to Florida, so I'm always loyal to my Connecticut real estate investors anytime they need me.
Wow. Wow. So, Robyn, for people that don't know you, can you just tell us a little bit about your background, how you got started in this?
Sure. I was living in Waterbury, Connecticut, in a not-so-good part of town. This is almost 20 years ago now, which seems like yesterday. I went to work one day at IBM Southbury, and they announced the first in history downsizing. The company had never laid anybody off in 116 years, and they decided to downsize the accounting organization there in Southbury from 503 people to 275. And I was one of the unlucky people who got to stay, but I realized real quick that nothing's fair in this world, and corporate America is not going to take care of you for a long haul. And so I started waitressing because I was broke. I had $500 in the checking account that day, and I started waitressing to try to get one payment ahead on my little condo. And real estate was something I had always kind of toyed around with that I wanted to try. And so I figured I might as well go ahead. And so I started to learn about how to invest with little or nothing down. And I know that's most folks' challenge that are listening to this. And stumbling through it, I was able to do 6 houses my first year by finding the deal and giving it to somebody else that had the money. And then the second year, I got my real estate license, started doing more and more investing, and did 17 houses, started rehabbing stuff that needed $10,000 and $15,000 worth of work, and learned you could pull a $17,000 profit check out of that kind of stuff. And then learned about a source of capital. I found money down in New Haven with a lender down there. And lo and behold, my third year, I did 51 houses in Waterbury. So Waterbury and Meriden have been very good to me. And so, you know, that's one of the things. I did almost 300 houses there before I came down to Florida. And so, you know, I love your market and I love the opportunity because those houses built between 1895 and 1920, they always need a lot of rehab. And so they're great profit margin deals in your state all over the place.
Yeah, and, you know, what I tell people is that when you were doing it, the market was pretty darn flat, and still you eked out $20,000 or $30,000 profit on houses that maybe sold for $100,000, and you sold them for like 10% more than anybody else could sell them for, and so you have a lot to share with us, that's for sure.
Well, you know, and Linda, the years I invested in Connecticut were between the years 1996 and 2008, and there was zero appreciation in Waterbury. Matter of fact, it was kind of funny. A house in 2007 or 2008 was a $100,000 house. Well, that was the same $100,000 house in 1996. So if you learn how to make money in a tough market, the way the market is right now in Connecticut with prices going up, you make even bigger profits today. So that's the good news, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, in your heyday, like you said, in 1 year, you did 51 rehabs in 1 year. And, you know, the biggest question I get from people is, how do you find contractors? How do you know they're going to be any good? So can you tell us about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's, you know, Linda, in the beginning days, I would waitress at the diner there in Waterbury to make $125 a night, and then I would hire a handyman to work, you know, figuring I was getting a better deal on him making $10 or $11 an hour, and me lugging all the materials from Home Depot. Well, what I can tell you, that's absolutely the wrong way to do a rehab. It's also the wrong way to do the work yourself, because that tells me you're only worth $11 an hour. The correct way, which I will teach this weekend, is what I call the system of mature, grown-up adults. And the year that I did 51 houses in Waterbury, we did a little over $2.1 million in renovations that year, and I had 22 mature grown-up adults on the team. You've got a roofer, a plumber, electrician, a licensed general contractor, an air conditioning guy, and a flooring company for the most part. And the way it works is these guys give you a quote to do their entire piece. So let's say I'm looking at a house and it needs a roof. I'm going to have the roofer come out. He's going to price all the plywood, the shingles, all the materials, labor, the whole job. And he's going to say, let's say he says the roof is $10,000. He's probably going to want a certain amount of money to start and a certain amount of money when he's done, because a roof is a day or 2-day project. So he may get $3,000 to start and $7,000 when he's finished. Well, that mature grown-up adult doesn't need me buying anything. He doesn't need me to order the dumpster. He doesn't need me to show up. He's going to want to pull a permit. He's going to offer a warranty. So being able to just write a check for a $10,000 roof, let's say, that may raise the value of the house $15,000. So by being able to write 2 checks and pick the right person, I'm not involved at all. They give a price. The price is fair. We do it. It's done. It's done quickly. And then the next piece of the process goes on. So when you build a team of mature grown-up adults, the guys who show up and they can give a price and they stick to it, and they're buying all the materials because they get it cheaper than we can because they're buying in bulk, what happens is your rehab cost goes down, but the speed of the process also gets done quicker, which means your carrying costs and your holding costs shrink. So all of that adds to our profit margin. So, you know, a team of mature grown-up adults, like I'm going to teach everybody to build this, you know, when I come back into town for the weekend event, you can literally get $10,000 worth of repair costs done a week. So if it's a $40,000 renovation, that's a 4-week process. You know, a $70,000 renovation is a 7-week process. So, you know, when you can get houses done that quick, you can turn money 2.5 times a year. And everybody should write this down that's listening. You know, one of the things I want to make sure everybody understands is velocity or your money. Velocity is how fast can I turn my money. I put it out into a house, I rehab the house, I sell the house, I get my money plus the profit back. I want to put the money out again, do another rehab, get the profit and my money back again. You should turn your money 2.5 times a year. And that's one of the things I want to make sure we focus on, is teaching students how to find good profit deals, and then how to get these houses done fast. And then more importantly, how do you get a qualified buyer to go ahead and go to the bank so you get your money and your profit back? And so having the right contractors who can move quickly and do a quality job is absolutely critical to the equation of making a lot of money in the rehab business. And they're out there. So we'll talk a lot about pre-screening contractors, where you find them, where I found mine in Connecticut, and then I can give them some really good hints on who the folks were that I used, so that they've got a head start on the construction side of this game, which is what slows most folks down.
Nice. Yeah, plus, you know, you can spend more of your time finding more deals rather than babysitting contractors. So right there, you're making so much more money. Yeah. So how do you find, oh, sorry, go ahead.
And I mean, Linda, that's what's important. I mean, the year I did $2.1 million in renovations, I don't think I stepped foot in Home Depot or Lowe's at all that year. These guys, I give them a list of SKU numbers, what's called the detailed scope of work. So I tell them which light fixtures and which toilet and which toilet paper holder. There's no reason for me to go waste the hours pulling this stuff off the shelves and hanging out in the checkout line at Home Depot. You need to give them very clear direction on what you demand, and then these guys, they handle it all. So, you know, you don't have to. So all that time is freed up for you to put into marketing to find the high profit deals in Connecticut.
Yeah, so how do you find these high profit deals that you're talking about? What's your favorite
Well,
method?
Linda, today's market is very different than when it was a slow market, and that's what students don't understand. They think the same marketing works in busy times and in slow times. That's not so. In a really hectic, busy, competitive market like today, we have to do marketing that other untrained investors don't do. So let me give you an example. Because there's so many investors trying to make a buck now in the real estate game because the economy is good, everybody's on the internet looking. Everybody's on auction.com, or they're on Hubzu, the auction sites. Well, the problem is when you go there, everybody who's untrained is bidding against you, which means they're paying too much. So let me give you an example. A decent priced house came on the market here the other day, and before I knew it, within 24 hours, there were 26 offers on this house.
Wow.
Well, you're not going to be able to steal that one at a low price no matter what you do, because the whole herd is looking at that. What you have to do in a market like today is you have to go ahead and learn how to do direct mail well, because nobody else does direct mail. They all think the post office is closed. and they don't know how to do it right. They'll send out blast postcards, 10,000 of them at a time. Well, that's not the way to do direct mail. A self-addressed envelope that looks like a letter from grandma, everybody will open that. And so direct mail, if done correctly, can pull as high as a 12% response rate. I mean, I sent 1,000 letters out a while ago, and we ended up with 127 phone calls that came in my office. Well, I only have to do 3 or 4 deals to make $150,000 off that mailing. That's because it was done correctly. And so direct mail is a big provider of really good deals right now because most people don't want to do it. And so I go away from the herd. So, you know, on Saturday, first thing in the morning, I want to make sure we cover 4 good marketing strategies to get desperate sellers calling that go away from the herd so that they can have a smorgasbord of sellers to pick from. You know, so if you get 50 or 60 good calls in, you can pick the easiest, fattest checks. That's what it's about. It's not about bidding against the other 25 people that are in the MLS trying to buy the same house as you. All that has is a lot of emotion wrapped around it and a lot of deals you don't get, and then you think, well, I can't do this. And so we got to make sure that, you know, you go directly to the seller because you have more time to evaluate the deal. You have time to estimate your repairs correctly, get the contractors to verify your numbers, so you're not having to bid in 24 hours and make a bad step and then get into a house that you don't make any money on. That's what we surely don't want for these folks. So, you know, there's lots of ways to go away from the herd. And direct mail, there's actually 6 campaigns I use, so we'll make sure we go over all that on Saturday morning first thing.
Right. Yeah. No, that sounds great. And I know that people that have used your marketing from previous times you've attended Connecticut, because you are one of the most popular trainers we host here at CTRIA, and they get really good results from the marketing methods that you recommend. Here's a really quick tip, which is kind of interesting. I don't know how well it's going to work, but this is on the selling of a house. One of our members created a business card with pictures of the house she's selling and all the good points of it, and she's passing it out to everybody. Isn't that a cool idea? Never thought of it. So
yeah, that's a good idea.
250 business cards so that's a freebie for you guys. So tell us, you know, 2 full days with you. My mind is blown. What are you going to teach for those days? How's this going to work?
Well, it's really important, Linda. I mean, the first thing that everybody needs to understand, my goal for the 2 days is to teach your people how to become what's called a real estate transaction engineer. I don't want them to just be a flipper. I don't want them just to be a landlord. I want them to be trained on any good deal that comes in off of marketing, that you can evaluate that deal and then learn which category do you put it in. Is it a rehab and it's got to be flipped, or do I keep this for massive passive wealth and build enough that I have a good nest egg coming in every month? So if you look at that, on Saturday, what I want to do is right off the bat is Saturday's where we're going to cover the rehab and flip business. That's the one that generates cash, large chunks of cash. It pays off credit card debt. It pays off cars. You know, it helps people build reserves. I want to make sure that's done on Saturday. Once we've got that craft mastered, on Sunday we'll go into the massive passive wealth, keeping houses long-term, also buying notes and mortgages, as well as building long-term private money stuff. So that's the way I see it. We'll do active investing the first day, passive investing the second. Now on Saturday, the first thing we've got to do is we've got to do marketing. I want to cover at least 4 or 5 marketing strategies I use today to bring in my high-profit deals in a hectic economy, so that we go through all that. I'm going to give everybody who comes out that direct mail letter that pulls 12%. I want to teach them how to buy the list. I want to teach them how to send the letter. I want to teach them how to address it, how to answer the phone, what to say word for word, so everybody understands how to determine what's a high-profit deal from a low-profit deal. Now, once we get the phone ringing, the next thing I want to make sure everybody understands on Saturday morning is the 9 types of houses to never buy, because they need to look at selling this house before they buy it. They need to make sure it's the house that 85% of the buying population want to live in, and that it will pay majority of the top market value for. So I want to make sure they understand what houses not to buy as well as what houses to buy. In the afternoon session, what we're going to do is go through wholesaling on how do you do deals with little or no money. How do you do an option with just $10 so the students that don't have big bank accounts can go ahead and start to make $7,000, $10,000 a deal so that they can go ahead and save up to do a rehab. And then what we'll do is move into the contractor side of the business in the afternoon. I actually want to go through my independent contractor agreement, paragraph by paragraph, all 9 of them, so that everybody knows how to hold contractors accountable for price, for quality, and for time frame to get done, because all three of those components have to work in our favor in order to maximize the amount of profits out of rehab. Again, it's time, it's quality, and it has to be done with the stuff that I want, and it's got to be done on a fair price. And so we'll cover that, and then we'll talk about how to find the right contractors, how to control those team of mature grown-up adults to all work together. And I don't know if you remember, but I did promise everybody, Linda, for coming out, 3 CDs are coming out for the class. One of the new ones I just did is called Hire the Best and Fire the Rest. So I want to make sure everybody goes home with that. We're also going to do one called Instant Cash. Those are how you build a cash buyers list so you can do deals with little or nothing down. And then I'm throwing in the 21 deadliest mistakes that real estate investors make to sabotage their big check. And so that's like $300 worth of training for coming out. So I want to make sure everybody gets those to go home with. And then the last part of the day, I'm going to cover how do you sell this damn house fast? What marketing you do that's different than what the realtors do so that you get this house sold within a couple days and that you get full price without the buyers backing out. And that'll complete pretty much Saturday's regiment. And then Sunday, what we're going to do is how do you do houses into retirement? As I told the group the other night, my fastest deals, my highest profits deals go through my IRA, so I pay no income tax on that money legally. And there's nothing better than making $500,000 or more a year without paying income tax on it and being allowed to do that. And then what we'll do is move into the buy and hold process. I'm going to go through how to evaluate a house to make sure it's a proper hold. Then we'll talk about how to make multiple offers, 3 offers on every house that you go to make an offer on, so that ups the amount of yeses that you get. And then we'll go through how to coordinate tenants, how to pre-screen tenants, how to do background check, criminal check, as well as tri-merge credit report on them. And then we'll go through how do you get your house up for rent to get the maximum amount of tenants coming. And just to give you an example, I put a house up for rent on Monday. Today is Wednesday. We just put it under rent. We got somebody with high 700 credit scores who makes 6 times what the rent is. And so I want to make sure that I teach these folks how to attract the best tenants, because it takes a while to evict a tenant in Connecticut, so we want to make sure they don't have to go down that road. And then I actually have spreadsheets and stuff to give out to everybody on how I track my massive passive investments and how to show them how to increase their profitability on those. And so it's going to be an action-packed 2 days, I can tell you that. They better come with about 50 or 60 pages of blank notebook paper and better be wide awake, because we're going to move pretty quickly. So it should be an action-packed weekend for everybody.
Yeah, and for those of you who, if you've heard Robyn's training before, so first of all, Sunday, she's all that training about passive income. She's never taught here in Connecticut. And so you're going to hear her perspective on buying and holding real estate, which, as you know, all of us here at CT REIA totally recommend that you build a portfolio like that. And then even if you've heard Robyn's training or been through her training or been through her boot camp before, it doesn't matter, because I attend these events every single time, not because it's my job, but because I know that if I hear one new phrase, if I meet one new person, that can mean the difference. That can make me an extra $10,000 to $100,000 in every year. So it's worth coming out and investing your time and your energy to really become a professional real estate investor. So that way you're not going to be a one and done. You're going to be in the Hall of Fame next year at our 15th anniversary. Am I right?
Yep. Well, hey, Linda, I want to give one example on that so everybody's clear. I just spoke in New Orleans 2 weeks ago, and we had a young lady come out to the all-day class, and she had already bought a rehab, and it's a pretty expensive rehab. It needs $100,000 at work. Well, she did everything wrong, because she didn't either hear me or didn't pay attention to me 2 years ago when I was in New Orleans, or she wasn't there. But what she did is she hired a general contractor for the job and left him hire all the subs, the electrician, plumber, and everybody else. Well, she's paid him out about $35,000 of the $100,000 in construction, and he's only done $15,000 in repair work, and he's begging for more money. And so they're in the middle of a fight, because she's like, I've already given you $35,000. You've only done $15,000 of work. I can't release any more money to you because Robyn said don't get ahead on money and behind on work. And she knows dang well if she releases more money to him that he's going to end up only doing about $60,000 worth of work, and he'll got the whole $100,000 out of her. Now the fight becomes, do I fire him or don't I? And I said to her, I said, you broke my rules. Did the electrician get paid? Did the plumber get paid? did the HVAC guy get paid for what they started? And she's like, I don't know, and I don't even know who they are. So if she fires him, these other guys, these other team members could lien her property because they didn't get paid, which means she's going to pay them twice. And so she's like, I don't know whether to try to keep working with him or let him go. I don't know who I owe and who I don't owe. It's a big, big mess. And she's probably going to end up losing $30,000 or $40,000. She might not even make anything on this house. So if her repair cost runs from $100 to $130, that's all the profit she was going to make on the deal. So now she's stuck in this big mess because she did not follow the principles, or she didn't know the principles. That's why coming out and me telling everybody what they need to do and how to do it and how to do it correctly, it'll keep you from getting into one of these messes if you listen. And, you know, that's why learning this in a classroom like Saturday is way cheaper than going through School of Hard Knocks, which is what she's going to be in. And so that's why I would encourage everybody, if you're serious about doing this business, you need to learn the proper procedure so that you don't get in a lawsuit and make a big mess and lose a bunch of money. So this is real life stuff. You've got to learn the basics before you start playing at a high level.
Yeah, that's a really good point. If you're brand new at this, you're going to hear the information at one level. If you've already done some renovations or done some real estate, you're going to hear things at a whole new level. So that's a really good point. And Robyn, you and I were just discussing, you know, during lunch. So lunch is included during the 2 days, so your tuition covers lunch. So you give people enough time to get their lunch, but then you're there to answer questions that pop up during the session, correct?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I'm flying in Friday night, Linda. I don't go out till late Sunday night. Mm-hmm. I've got nowhere to go but the hotel, the Best Western, so I don't care how long we need to stay around Saturday night or early Sunday morning. If they got questions or they're in the middle of a deal and they need help, that's what I'm there for. I mean, ask somebody who knows so that you can get the guidance you need for sure. I'm not the unapproachable speaker by any means, so I'm there to give you everything I got while I'm there. So just ask me anything you need to.
And we're pretty lucky since Robyn cut her teeth, so to speak, right here in Connecticut. And by the way, Massachusetts, New York, Rhode Island, all of those states have similar types of real estate. We're really lucky because she understands what it takes to renovate our places, whereas other trainers that we have throughout the year are coming from Florida where houses are built in the 80s. So we have a real...
The rehabs are much easier here in Florida, I can tell you that, but I have not forgot my days up north. They whine down here that the house is a tough rehab. I'm like, you fertilized the orange tree. It's rehab. Are you kidding me?
Yep. Yep. So, and you have another opportunity at this 2-day event. So it's July 29th and 30th. It's going to be held at the Best Western Hotel, which is I-91, exit 12, really easy to get to. There's general tuition, which gets the 3 CDs and 2 full days of training and 2 full lunches. We also are offering you a VIP to make it a really special weekend for you. The movers and shakers are the ones who sign up for VIP. So as a result, you get preferred seating, which will mean in the front half of the room. And you'll also get a VIP dinner Saturday evening with Robyn and with us from CT-RIA so that you can answer any questions that you have. Excuse my calendar that just changed out. Anyway, so that you can get whatever you need to get information-wise for the, to answer any questions. And then, Robyn, you're giving one more bonus, aren't you, for VIP?
Yeah, the VIPs that are going to be with me on Saturday night dinner, Linda, I agreed to give each and every one of them the little course called Little Renovations to Massive Profits, and that's a whole day with me. That's on 5 audio CDs, and that comes in a really nice container carrying case. That's worth about $200. So, you think you're charging $50 more for VIP to get the dinner and the upfront seating. That's the least that I could do for my Connecticut students for sure. So that's about how you do like what's called a prehab, where you do the roof, the exterior, and you mow the lawn, and it raises the value of the house, $15,000 or so, and then you can go ahead and sell it with only some of the rehab done and profits sometimes as much as you can if you did the full-blown rehab. So that's a great course, and I'm going to give that out to all the VIPs.
Yeah, which is so generous of you. I was really surprised when you offered that on Monday night. It's like, really? You're going to do that? Okay.
Yeah, but we did that with a caveat. They need to get their butt registered because I got to get all that stuff produced and packaged and shipped up to Connecticut, so they can't wait till Friday night before the event starts to get that. So they need to get on it if they're doing it.
Yeah. And again, just meeting one new person, you might find out about a deal, you might find out about a good contractor, or a good private lender, or a good hard money lender. So the people that make money in this business are the people who show up. So I can't say that more than enough. So one, we have the best trainer in the country for renovating properties. Number two, she's going to spend 2 full days training us. And the information is actionable. You can leave out of there and Monday morning go to town making money. And you'll get to hang out with at least 100 people, but there may be about 150 people. And we really do want you to register as soon as possible so that we know, so the chef at the hotel knows how many people to feed. Last year when you came, we had an extra 50 people, and I had to order pizzas in because the hotel literally ran out of food. So please, as the host of this event, could you please just go ahead and register? We'd really appreciate that. Robyn,
hey, Linda,
I
got a question for you. What
Sure.
did you say you're charging for the general admission versus the VIP again?
It's $49 for members and $59 for not yet members.
Okay, so that's for both days plus lunch?
Yeah.
Plus my bonuses. They get the bonus, all the bonuses, except the little rent.
Yeah, because you're also you did the 3 CDs, and then you're also giving you a sample of your marketing,
right?
And all the handouts
that
you got.
That's all you're charging for that.
I know. I'm a pushover.
I tell you, that's the deal. That's the best deal of the century I've ever heard. I can tell you, I speak 180 days a year. I haven't had anybody do the 2-day event that cheap, so I know it's a break even for you. So 49 is for members and 59 for non-members?
Yep.
Or not yet members?
Yep, exactly. Yep.
And then what's the VIP package? What are you charging for the VIP package?
VIP is $97 for members and $117 for not yet members.
Okay, so they get the whole extra dinner and they get the extra $200 course from me.
Yes.
That's great. And where do they go to sign up? Because they need to get this done, so I know how many of the things we need to ship.
Yes, please go to ctrea.com, ctreia.com, and from our homepage, all you have to do is click on Learn More or Register Now, either one, and then we have all the options. Of course, if you have any challenges technologically, please call us at 860-265-4414. That's 860-265-4414. So really look forward to it. And Robyn, thank you so much. I know you're crazy busy doing all the projects that you're doing. Any last words of wisdom, or you covered it all?
No, I think one more last word of wisdom would be good. I mean, I'm sure some of the folks, Linda, are listening saying, hey, look, I don't have a lot of money to do this rehab stuff. My credit's not the greatest. I can't borrow. You know what? I have to be honest with you. I didn't have any money when I started either. I started this whole entire business in Connecticut with $500 in my checking account, and I was waiting tables at a Betsy Ross Diner on Wolcott Street in Waterbury. So I plan to make sure I cover the deals I did in my beginning, how I started this with nothing, so everybody knows how to start with a clean plate. So, you don't have to start with $1 million in the bank. So if you're like I was in the beginning and you had more months than money, don't hesitate about coming out to the class, because we'll make sure we show you the techniques that you need to be able to do what's called wholesaling, so that you can go ahead and find deals and give them to somebody else and get paid a really nice finder's fee in the beginning. I did a lot of that my first year, which kick-started me to keep going. I mean, little checks lead to bigger checks, and little checks build self-esteem. So we'll make sure we cover that too. So this is for everybody, no matter what level of investing you're at.
Yeah, and bring your team with you. Potential contractors, potential lenders, family members that believe in you, because the more people on your team that are educated and trained in this material, the more you'll be on the same path and really accelerate your business. So I'm really looking forward to and please make sure you meet me. I'm the chief cheerleader there at CT-REIA. Please give me a call. Please come up and introduce yourself. Anything CT-REIA can do to help you be successful, we would be happy to do. So, all right, Robyn, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Have an amazing, amazing day.
All right, we'll see you on July 29th and 30th, Linda.
All right, thanks. Same here. Bye-bye now.
Good luck.
Bye.